So today I'm going to cover a pretty taboo subject. Maybe taboo for some, others maybe not, but it's concerning the war on drugs. I'm going to talk about the war on drugs and why I believe it's an inherently racist uh, status system, and also why it has failed, why it's not doing anything to prevent crime, and why it's basically just ruining the lives of basically innocent people for no good reason. And so let's get started. The first video I'm going to produce, or the first slide I'm going to produce, is talking about incarcerated Americans from 1920 to 2006. And as you can see, Nixon declares war on drugs. The year that he actually declared war on drugs was 1971. And so 1971 he declares war on drugs. You can see a slight uptick until about 1980. And then after that it's basically just a skyrocket up to almost 200 or 2,500,000 people. So anyway, that's first of all, an issue that the war on drugs has created is that it seems like as soon as the war on drugs starts, incarceration rates go up. And now you may be saying to yourself, but what about the possibility that it might have to do with like violent crime? Maybe violent crimes went up. But then, as you'll see here in this next slide, you can see that actually violent crime has not gone up in the past. This is a slideshow from 1960 to 2005. See, the violent crime there is indicated on the light blue line. Incarceration rates are the dark blue line. Property crime is the gray line, and population is the black line. And as you can see, look at like starting around 1970, where that blue dot is, or 1971. You'll see that. After that, incarceration rates have slowly gone up. Of course, up until that point, up until 1980, property crime and violent crime kind of coincided. But then soon after that, incarceration rates started continuing to increase while property crime and violent crime have sort of leveled themselves off or have gone down. In fact, even after they've gone through a consistent slide down, incarceration rates still continue to increase. And if you compare the population to the violent crime rate and property crime rate from 1960 up until now, you'll notice that the ratios are basically the same, which indicates to me that violent and property crime are not the reason why incarceration rates are going up. Which leads me to believe that what are the reasons of people being incarcerated? Maybe white-collar crime? Maybe. But I doubt white-collar crime is quite as consistent or quite as pervasive as small amounts of possession of marijuana or cocaine or heroin or whatever it is. So anyway, the idea is that property crime and violent crime have nothing to do with the incarceration rates, and that in fact incarceration rates are continuing to increase, as far as I can tell, and another issue is the reason why I claimed earlier on that it was an inherently racist law is because this next graph. So you have here the black ratio versus the black rate versus the white rate when it comes to incarceration rates or prison admission rates, and you'll notice like right around 1975. Soon after the war on drugs started, the black rate skyrocketed, and it's freaking high is the answer. And the reason why I believe it's high is because first of all, it has to do with our culture, and our culture is that we have this media that portrays the black person as a person who consumes drugs, who's a pimp or a prostitute. I mean, it's truly unfortunate because, they've turned the hip-hop movement, they've changed it from a social mobility and political struggle, art form into just this basic pimps and hoes and guns and bling and drugs thing. So that's for another video. But basically, it's not that kind of mentality creates a false image of the black person in the American psyche, and that psyche pervades even cops. So whereas whites may use just as many drugs as blacks do, I don't myself. I don't use drugs. I don't use anything that's illicit, but whereas whites may use just as many drugs as black people do, they're less likely to be stopped and searched for those. And so that would explain to me why the white rates would be not quite as high as the black rates, even though if everybody was treated equally based on their ethnicity and not stereotyped, that perhaps you would actually see equivalent rates. Anyway, so like I said, I personally believe the war on drugs is inherently racist. I believe it is a failure. I believe it is doing nothing except for ruining people's lives, ruining their futures, and basically spending money that the government doesn't even have to begin with. So, if you guys have any questions or concerns or complaints, address them in the comments below, and I'll get to them if I can.